Well, this is a huge Mirror Now campaign impact news coming in after Gujarat. It's the state of Maharashtra that is set to bring in some more relief for its citizens by cutting down on the value-added tax on fuel, thereby making your petrol and diesel cheaper. Gujarat was the first state to announce just earlier today. Now it seems that even Maharashtra is set to cut the prices of petrol by 2 rupees and diesel by 1 rupee. This one would assume will come on the back of cut in the value-added tax. Remember, Maharashtra is one of those states that in just the last few months had gone on to increase the VAT component as far as on your fuel is concerned. So after the centre decided to move ahead with cut in excise duty on fuel, on petrol and diesel, the onus was on states to also follow suit and bringing some more relief. That is what here at Mirror Now also we had demanded, that just the relief that was coming in by a cut in excise duty will not be enough. There is a lot more that can be done considering the high tax component that is there for petrol and diesel. So Gujarat decided first, made the announcement first. Now it's another BJP ruled state, the state of Maharashtra, that has decided that there will be a cut in the value-added tax. It will make your fuel cheaper again. Experts estimate that diesel will become cheaper by 1 rupee, so it will cost about 59.55 rupees across Maharashtra. Petrol is also likely to come down to 675.58 rupees per litre. That would be a respite of about 2 rupees. Maharashtra is one of those states that charges about 25% value-added tax on petrol in Mumbai. For the rest of the state, it's slightly higher at 26%. Delhi also has a high level of VAT component of about 27%. The centre had sent this indication to the states to also take the lead to cut down on VAT. Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, BJP spokesperson, on the phone line with me. Mr. Agarwal, will this be followed across states that are also ruled by the BJP? We've seen Gujarat and now Maharashtra, where a decision has been made to cut VAT.
Definitely the central government, after slashing the excise on the petroleum product, they had requested the state government, but ultimately it is for the state government to look into. But the appeal from the centre definitely has an effect on the state government, which are ruled by the BJP and their allies. So therefore, the centre wants that the prices should be similarly reduced, VAT should be reduced at the state government, and there is a high level of discrepancy between what each state government is charging in the form of VAT. So central government wants a unification, a uniformity in VAT charges so that there is an equality with regard to fuel prices. There is a big difference in what petroleum prices are in different states. So ultimately, when the petroleum products, and ultimately when they come under GST, there is a uniformity in that. That's what the central government wants.
No, Mr. Agarwal, what you also will have to do, one would expect the centre to also reach out to states that are being ruled by opposition parties, because as BJP state rules begin to follow suit, we'll also have to look at other states. What about Kerala? What about Delhi, that also has a VAT component as high as 27%?
This is what the central government has asked the states, that there is a large component of taxes in petroleum products from the centre and the state. And if the centre is reducing, then the state should also correspondingly reduce. And some states, there is a very high component of VAT in the petroleum product, even higher than the excise which is being charged by the centre. So this is required, that there is a uniformity and the reduction is there, so that the price of petroleum products, which are at present, due to international conditions, some spurt in the international prices have risen very high over some period, over a few days in past. They are streamlined and stabilized. That is required, and that's what the central wants, that there is a stability in the prices of petroleum prices so that the fluctuation is not there on on day-to-day basis. This is also one of the important criteria and demand from the transport industry, that the fluctuation of petroleum prices on day-to-day basis is also causing a difficulty in their operations. So the government...
Yes, Mr. Agarwal, I also want to understand from you, we heard multiple times from the oil minister who came out and said that we will make efforts, we need to bring fuel under GST. That's the only other way there can be some more rationalization. Now, where is that plan? You know, what's the timeline to maybe that happening? Because at the last GST Council meet, that didn't get discussed.
No, already petroleum products are under GST. Only the implementation of GST has not been taken up by the GST Council. Ultimately, it is not in the center hand that petroleum products are GST is implemented on the petroleum product, because in the GST Council, the majority is of the state government. So ultimately, when the state government or their finance minister agree to bringing the petroleum product, it cannot happen. It has to be a consensus driven. So therefore, when the GST will be implemented on petroleum product, has to come through the GST Council decision. Center is only hoping that there is a uniformity, the fluctuation are reduced, and there is a management of fuel prices based on excise and VAT is proportion to the international prices, that there is a stability in the fuel prices. That's what the intention is. Ultimately, if the international prices of the fuel increases, therefore the government has tried to reduce its tax component so that there is a stability in the prices, and the state also are being asked to follow suit.
Right, Gopal Krishna Agarwal.
When GST will be implemented, it will be finally decided by the GST Council.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us and bringing a BJP's viewpoint on this issue. It was Gujarat first that took the decision to cut the value-added tax on petrol and diesel. It's Maharashtra now, a big development here, and impact of the campaign that Mirror Now has been constantly running for the last several weeks since the rise in fuel prices began to pinch the common man. We've been asking to reduce the tax. Why should you pay such a high level of tax, and why should you pay double the price of fuel that you ought to be paying otherwise? So it was first the central government that brought in small amount of relief by cutting down on the excise duty component for petrol and diesel. Next, it is state governments who are expected to do that. We've been asking state governments to also, instead of just politicizing the issue, take the onus of reducing your taxes, your burden on fuel. So Gujarat and Maharashtra have done that. Sanjay Jha is on the phone line, spokesperson for the Congress. Mr. Jha, thank you for speaking with us. But it seems like some of the states have now taken the initiative and the lead in cutting down VAT. What about the other states? What about some of the Congress-ruled states? Do they not want to ease the burden for the common man?
No, I think, let me be very straightforward here. The BJP government at the center has cut the excise duty once by 2 rupees. Now you have a couple of states, like for example, you're mentioning Gujarat is cutting it down. We all know they're doing it for the coming elections in the month of December. But the truth is that end of day, amongst all the states put together, the larger chunk of the real tax has been created by the center, which actually went and raised excise duties 9 times over. So please don't allow these red herrings to distract from the principal point, which is the center has the fundamental responsibility of reducing excise duties. And the states, at the end of the day, since they have already been restricted in terms of their funds, kind of what they can raise, they are relying on VAT. Ultimately, the only solution is to bring petroleum products under GST. And why did the GST
zero responsibility?
We don't know.
You are saying the states have zero responsibility to try and bring down the burden. If a state like Maharashtra is taxing 25% value-added tax, if a state like Delhi is charging 27% value-added tax, and it's hurting the common man. Don't they have a responsibility here?
Of course they do. That's exactly what I'm saying. The states have an equal responsibility as much as the center. That is not in dispute. My main point is what you're going to witness over the next coming months is some state tinkering. They will bring it down by 2 rupees, excise duty by 2 rupees. That's not going to change the story. You see, the problem that you have is that the current prices of petroleum and diesel are double of what they should be. So center has to send out a message by a significant reduction, and the states need to then accordingly make commiserate deductions. Right now, we are seeing headlines being created over a 2 rupee reduction in excise by, say, Mr. Modi's government and 2 rupees by Gujarat and Maharashtra. This is too little, and it's really very cosmetic in impact. What you need at the moment is a significant reduction. Why not by 50%? And then move towards putting it in GST. Otherwise, what is going to happen is soon some other government of another party will do it. But these are only, at the end of the day, tinkering. They will not...
Sanjay, just please hold on with me for a minute. I've also got our editor, Faye D'Souza, joining us on this show. Faye, we've been campaigning here. The fact is, it's not just up to one government or party. The states and the centre have to come together to ease the burden.
Absolutely. And we must be aware of the fact that the city of Mumbai pays... close to the highest rate right now for petrol and diesel, in spite of the fact that the oil that comes in, that we import, comes into the port in Mumbai and then gets, moved to Delhi and other cities by road. We still pay a higher rate because the VAT is a lot higher in Mumbai and in Maharashtra. Remember, in Maharashtra, we have a drought cess, we have a Krishi Kalyan cess, we pay the highest cesses, and a reduction of 2 rupees and 1 rupee for petrol and diesel respectively is so welcome at this point, because the price was, quite frankly, had reached a point that it was not sustainable. The average Maharashtrian citizen and the average Mumbaikar and Punekar just couldn't pay upwards of 80 rupees per litre of fuel. And in reaction to what Sanjay Jha was just saying, that we need a drastic cut. One must also remember, from the point of view of economics, it's not possible to drastically slash the prices of fuel. It will lead to reactions of inflation in the market. It has to be done gradually. It has to be done in a phased manner. Just as well that it comes from the states. I think the unfortunate part here, though, is that while Gujarat and Maharashtra have done it, the other states have not, and that's going to involve some waiting. One would hope that the central government also continues to sort of cut the excise duty in a gradual manner, though I don't believe a sharp slash of excise duty or VAT is going to be possible, or is going to be what the doctor recommended for our economy at this point. But perhaps, smaller cuts on a more regular basis is what we need. Tanvi?
Yes, absolutely, Faye. But the fact right now is we've only seen it in 2 states. It's just Maharashtra and Gujarat. And while the others seem to be questioning the central government, and fair enough, you probably need a bigger relief. But one would expect even a Delhi government and even a Karnataka government to come out and bring in some relief for their citizens.
Absolutely. So it's very important here for all of the states to consider. And you must remember, Tanvi, when the entire GST move happened, several of these state governments argued to keep petrol and diesel out of GST in order to be able to use fuel to make up for the losses that they would incur when GST was brought in terms of revenue. So they're using fuel to make up for any sort of loss of revenue that they're getting right now on GST. So it's going to take a little more than a nudge from the central government for all of the states to come around and reduce VAT on petrol and diesel. But it's something that we're hoping will happen as soon as possible. This is a campaign we've been pushing on the channel now for nearly 5 months.
He could meet around 20 people inside country, outside country, from academia, from policy, from industry, from technology. This year we have a very extended group from the same category, and Honorable Prime Minister spared almost 3 hours to listen to all the suggestions given by the group one by one. And I am confidently today share one thing. I am thankful to all of you. Today you have reported that event very on detail. And the one day who all are not there in the Indian capital. Rosneft, BP, Saudi Aramco at the CEO level, ExxonMobil, SAIL, and all the Indian big companies, public and private sector, were there in yesterday's interaction. Friends, it was not a mere gathering, it was a very open and expert like Dan technology company represented from Schlumberger, Halliburton, Wood Mackenzie, representative from IEA, representative from World Bank, all were there. This shows the emerging energy market of India. I don't want to repeat this proposition, but I have a very temptation to repeat that. We are the number 3 energy consumer and our incremental growth is phenomenal. And today our per capita consumption is 1/4 of the world per capita consumption. Whether it is, yes, we know the emerging challenge of electric vehicle. With that also I am saying, all the world expert, all the world analysis of energy business is looking towards India. On that backdrop, everybody are very appreciative about the reforms in India on the core area, on the E&P sector, on the midstream area, on the downstream area. The pricing freedom is one of the biggest statement, biggest reform, which trigger a huge enthusiasm among the investors. And on that occasion, on the sideline of that Prime Minister's interaction with the industry captain of the world, we could organize SERA. And as Dan said, for us, SERA is a very prestigious event for Indian energy industry. I am going to formally announce in my concluding speech, but let me share with you. Hope SERA will, if Dan will agree, I'll request him to let SERA be an annual event in Indian energy market. This event will help us to understand the world development. World will come here. Primarily, they are a service company in oil industry, energy industry. They are the catalysts to bring investor, being technology, being experts, being economists of energy industry. That way, our market is going to be enlightened and our market will be exposed to the world industry.
That was the Union Minister of Petroleum addressing the press at an event just after we broke the news that Maharashtra, the state of Maharashtra, has decided to bring down the state VAT, which is the state taxes on petrol and diesel. 2 rupees on petrol, 1 rupee on diesel, to be applicable tonight, which means that from tomorrow morning, all across Maharashtra, you'll be paying lower prices for fuel. Narendra Taneja of the BJP joins me right now. Mr. Taneja has been part of several discussions we've had on this channel where we've been talking about reducing the taxes on both diesel and petrol. Mr. Taneja, another very positive move coming this time from the Maharashtra state government that will offer tremendous relief to the citizens of Maharashtra. So we saw Gujarat, we saw Maharashtra. It's important now that other states also take cue.
No, absolutely. I think, I personally think that, Maharashtra probably, probably could have done it slightly more, maybe by another 1%. But I expect that other states will take the cue and follow what Gujarat has done, now what Maharashtra has done. And if my information is correct, probably Madhya Pradesh is going to do it soon, definitely before Diwali. And I'm gathering similar kind of reports from some other states too. I hope states don't fall into this trap of BJP, Congress, and left and right and all that. But they should actually, keep the interest of the ordinary consumer first and foremost in their mind. And Kerala must take the lead because they actually increased by 7%, very close to when the central government was actually bringing down the excise. So I think they should also take initiative. And at the same time, states such as Punjab and Karnataka, which are slightly better off states than, let's say, compared with poorer states like Bihar and West Bengal, they should also take the lead. But the important thing is it's done across the country. If we have to prepare the country for GST, I think it's important that these states all agree, A, to, bring down VAT / sales tax as soon as possible, and at the same time start rethinking their economies so that they can reduce their dependence on taxes from petroleum products for their overall economic and social well-being.
Mr. Taneja, the last time we spoke, you did talk about the fact that the central government is very keen to bring petrol and diesel under GST. There has been one GST council meeting. Any update of whether or not this was brought up in that meeting? Has there been any headway being made in that direction?
Yeah, this was actually discussed, in the last GST meeting, and I'm sure this is going to be discussed again in Guwahati when the GST Council is scheduled to meet on the 9th of next month. But you see, this is extremely complex. It's going to take a long time. But good thing is now on the agenda of GST Council. Some states have also started talking about it, and there is a growing realization among states across the country that they really can't just sit there and do nothing. They will have to do something because the consumer is demanding, because the economy is demanding, and at the same time, I think if they need to kind of modernize their own economy, they need to go for restructuring, which means reduce their dependence on petroleum products and find other ways of collecting GST and other indirect taxes. So I think I personally see a lot of positive movement on the ground. How long is it going to take before it firmly comes under GST ambit? But I'm quite, as an individual and as an Indian, I'm satisfied with the progress. But I think it should be done as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Stay with us, Mr. Taneja. Tanvi, so we now understand that news from the Maharashtra government tells us that this will amount to a revenue loss of about 2,000 crore rupees over the course of the year. So Maharashtra government, already in debt, as we are aware of, willing to take that hit and bring down its VAT on fuel, on petrol and diesel. Tanvi?
Yes, absolutely, Faye. Thanks for joining us on this big story. For now, it's, of course, a big relief for the citizens of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Like Narendra Taneja was pointing out, one can expect other states to follow soon, especially Madhya Pradesh, hopefully before Diwali. So citizens across the country will have some more respite as far as their fuel bills is concerned.